Last night's defeat is just a chapter, not the whole story. In the face of adversity, we find the fuel to rise higher. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. The journey may be tough, but so are we. We'll learn, grow, and come back stronger. This is just a bend in the road, not the end of it. Hashtag stay hungry. Hashtag fly, Eagles, fly.
So are you an Indian Jalen Hurts?
I guess.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Coconut Curry Podcast and a new episode here. If you're new here, we're three college students at the University of Pittsburgh just chatting about sports and hopefully offering a fresh new perspective on things.
And we're not from Ohio, by the way.
We are not from Ohio. We were accused. We go to school at the University of Pittsburgh, and we're all from Jersey.
We've all been haters of Ohio. I just need to make that clear.
Episode 29, Ohio is purgatory.
Yeah, you can look Ohio.
It up. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out a lot, and we, of course, appreciate the success on our recent posts, even if we have certified haters. Last week,
thank you, by the way.
Yes, we appreciate the haters.
And some of them are really funny, yeah, I will say.
We'll get into them right off rip. But I did want to address right off rip that Peter and I went 2 of 4 in playoff predictions last week.
Yes, we did.
And Raj went 3 of 3. So anything we say here is, of course, exactly what's going to happen. We're 100% correct all the time.
All the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's horrible being 2 and 4.
Well,
that's not a good look for us.
Well, look, CJ Stroud, I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game. The Joe Flacco insanity run is over. Now the Browns can rest and piss. I mean, that was a crazy way to start off Wild Card Weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
That was insane.
It was nuts. I mean, we're talking about big favorites. The Cowboys were 7.5-point favorites, I think, going into that game. Mm-hmm. And they lost.
They lost
nuts.
Big. Yeah. It was to start off, it was CJ Stroud having nearly a perfect game, completely outshooting destroying the Browns defense. That was supposed to be the number 1 defense in the league. Then it was Joe Flacco turning into prime Jets Joe Flacco and just throwing it directly to the other team.
I think if you did the math, this might be one of the highest margin of victories of Wild Card Weekend in
I think in total
NFL.
Yeah,
there was really not a close game besides that Lions game.
Yeah,
every game was a blowout.
Yeah, it really was. Maybe it wasn't a blowout by the end of it, but that game was solidly in the hands of.
And we're going to get into this, but this next upcoming weekend there are some huge lines.
Huge lines, big matchups.
But before we get into next week, we want to react to the comments.
I mean, true.
And as we addressed before. We posted a video about me and Peter both saying that the Browns would beat the Ravens, and we were projecting out that they would beat the Texans already.
Could you guys not tell I was being sarcastic? I said it would hit like crack if the Browns won. I wasn't expecting them to win.
I was serious.
I really wasn't. But it was funny, though. And it got people's attention.
And what I loved was the people, I appreciate you all, who commented right as the game got out of hand. You were like, I'm going to the Coconut Curry Podcast Instagram page.
I'm going right there. I'm telling this dude he's a moron.
Yep. And you know what? I appreciate that.
Yes.
And I appreciate you for listening.
But then also the same people then telling Raj that he was an idiot for taking the Texans were then completely silent, which is very funny.
I'm telling you, the Texans fed families that weekend.
They did.
Free.
And if you're probably not watching this, but if you are the one who told me that I was wrong to get a bet against Lamar, I actually didn't bet against Lamar because he wasn't playing last weekend. So none of that happened. I'm still not sure if he's going to win a playoff game this weekend, but we'll get into our predictions.
Oh God, here we go.
But anyway, appreciate all the haters.
Of course, we love them.
We always love the comments. Keep commenting.
Yes, please. Honestly, can you if you can comment the funniest crap you can and just start instigating in the comments? It's really funny.
It's
just
great. Great for content.
It's really, really funny.
All right. As we always do, we're hopping into the disgruntled moment of the week.
Yeah.
For folks new here, disgruntled, angry, or dissatisfied. We're picking one person. It could be ourselves. It could be a life situation. It could be sports who we believe is disgruntled. And I'll start us off. Jim Schwartz. Bro has the best defense he's had on the Browns. Everybody is saying his defense is the best in the NFL.
Best in the
top
league.
3 minimum.
Yeah.
Ravens, Chiefs, and Browns, top 3.
And
in any order. Everyone knows that. And just got cooked in the first playoff game.
By a rookie quarterback. So off a week of rest. So Jim Schwartz this week wins my disgruntled moment of the week. That's horrible.
That he looked like prime Philadelphia Jim Schwartz out there.
Yes, he did. All right, Raj, what about you?
By a man named James Bradbury IV. I hate you. How can you not tackle?
You're disgruntled again.
I'm disgruntled. I'm always disgruntled. But I'm especially disgruntled about James Bradbury not being able to tackle. dude, you let this no name named Trey Palmer score on you because you couldn't tackle him on a goddamn 5 and out or a screen or whatever. And you know what? It happened multiple times because you are trash. You are burnt toast. You are now the Eli Apple of the NFL.
No.
Retire. You're trash. Holy.
So my disgruntled moment of the week is actually going to be for Joe Barry, the Packers defensive coordinator. Now, it's not what you're thinking. So Packers are up, 48-16 at one point?
Yep.
Like, up by a ton. Just need to play prevent defense, keep it in front of you, no big plays, whatever, and we'll close the game out. Jordan Love gets, he gets to rest. He sits on the bench. He's got a perfect passer rating. But Joe Barry took his foot off the gas a little too much.
A little too much.
With that defense. And got a little too close. It was then 32-48, I think.
Yep.
Came within 2 scores. So then Jordan Love has to go back out there.
And ruined his perfect passer rating.
And ruined his perfect passer rating because somebody dropped a pass. I'm so pissed. That's
ridiculous.
That's so insulting to Jordan Love. He would have been the first quarterback ever to start in their first ever playoff game, have a perfect passer rating. And be the first quarterback to have a perfect passer rating since 2004 Peyton Manning.
That is a great disgruntled moment of the week.
Yeah.
That was beautifully thought out.
Joe Barry, come on, man. What are we doing? You had it. You had it in the bag.
He was on the bench. Who was the Packers' backup quarterback?
Sean Clifford, I think.
Oh, okay.
Penn State guy. Yeah. Bad.
Wow.
Yeah, real bad.
Anyway, that's disgruntled moment of the week. Always tune in. We love doing this. It usually ends up in Raj just being disgruntled himself.
Yeah.
Going into Wild Card Weekend, I would like to make it very clear I didn't watch almost any football this weekend.
Oh yeah.
So I will be reacting to it.
You were busy. Yeah.
I was in Florida. I was volunteering, so I did not watch many of the games here. I will comment on some of what I saw in some of the games I watched, but I will more be reacting to things that had happened. So we'll be starting off here. Texans beating the Browns 45-14. It's DJ Stroud. Great game, 16-21, 274, 3 touchdowns. Joe Flacco throws the ball 46 times.
Yeah.
Throws 2 pick sixes.
Yeah. On back-to-back plays.
Yep.
Thoughts?
So we were watching this game, and I'm sitting there. It's a pretty close game at first, and we were expecting a shootout. It was
electric first quarter.
Yeah. It was tied
crazy. It was
14-14. It was tied at some point.
I think it was like 14-10 or something. But it was like going back and forth. It was like Texans scored a field goal. Browns scored a touchdown. Texans immediately score a touchdown on the next play. Browns drive down and score a touchdown. It's like, holy crap, this is going to be crazy.
And then fast forward to the second half.
Oh,
when we sit there and I see Flacco throw a pick 6, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, that Kiko Alonso hit has come back to haunt him.
Yeah.
The CTE's kicking in right
now. Finally kicking in.
So he throws the pick 6. Then they get the ball back and throws another one to the defense again.
Dude, the second pick 6, that was like almost exactly like a Madden play.
Yeah.
Where you see the quarterback, he throws it, the linebacker is just sitting right there, just steps in front of the receiver, runs it into the end zone. No one even come close to him.
No idea what Flacco was seeing there, but as soon as he threw that second pick 6, the game was basically over.
There's not really much to talk about with this game because it's like, you saw it yourself. Like if you watch this game at all, it was a very interesting first half where it was sort of close, and then the Texans just blew the doors off of the Browns. It didn't look close. The defense just was getting sauced all over the field. Nico Collins was open every single play.
If Dolan Schultz could catch,
I knew the screens were going really good. They just weren't able to block on screens.
Yeah, Brevin Jordan had their backup tight end had about a 60-yard, something like that.
Yeah, it was a 70
just off a screen.
Yeah, off a screen. It was and then there was a throwback to Dalton Schultz because he actually dropped a touchdown, or what would have been a touchdown earlier in the game, but then he comes back and it's a designed throwback across the field. CJ Stroud just flat-footed, just throws it 45 yards. It puts it in a bucket on the move. Ridiculous. I guess the receiver's on the move. He was flat-footed, but whatever. You get what I mean.
Yeah. I said that I thought the Browns were going to win this game, but I did say Joe Flacco can't turn the football over.
And that's exactly what he did.
I mean, he gave the Texans 14 points.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing you can do is as an offense, give the other team points.
Yep.
And when you do that for 14 of them, it's just a huge momentum killer. Were we more impressed with Houston or disappointed in Cleveland?
Combo of both. It was impressive
That's a cop-out answer.
You got to choose one.
I was more impressed. Actually, no, I was very disappointed in the Browns. That was bad. As much as Houston played well, that was just like Flacco, his insanity run ended. Their defense, who's supposed to be very good, just died on the field for some reason. No one wanted to play football anymore. Myles Garrett might be a fraud just because of that one game. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. We're watching the offense at some point looked like they were cooking. Njoku was getting open. Amari Cooper did get shut down.
Yeah, Stingley did shut him down for most
of
the game.
Which I said last week was a if the Texans wanted to path the victory, it was Joe Flacco turning the ball over and Derek Stingley locking up Amari Cooper. And
so
I mean, they came to play.
The Texans did exactly that. Cleveland came in kind of not like unprepared, but those second half adjustments was their downfall.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I was a little more impressed with Houston just because of how like inexperienced this team is. I mean, there are still some vets on this team, but like as a whole, they're a very, very young team. And just the way they came out super composed, even with D'Amico Ryans, first year head coach, he was not playing conservative at all. He was playing to win. He was giving the keys to CJ Stroud and saying, go win this game. And they went out and just did it. And as much as the Browns defense did kind of disappoint, it clearly was like schemes that were getting these players open. And I think it really hurt the Browns, honestly, that they played them earlier in the year, because then it's like, okay, well, we've seen this defense before. We know what we're going to be expecting, generally speaking. So then we'll be able to scheme around that a lot better. From what I noticed, they were doing a lot more stuff that didn't rely on man-to-man defense. They played a lot of man defense the first time they played, and then it's the screen game. It's all these kind of crossing routes to get guys open. Tons of crossing routes to get the angles going, and it really was just a masterclass on like how to beat the Browns, and they beat.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say about. I'm very impressed with Houston. Their offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. He's getting a lot of head coaching interviews right now, and he should. I mean, taking this team with rookie wide receivers, Dalton Schultz, CJ Stroud, first year quarterback, people were iffy on, and just putting them in the best possible chance to win that game against the defense everyone was calling one of the best in the NFL.
Literally.
So hats off to them. I didn't see that coming.
Also, Will Anderson Jr. is good at football.
He is
probably will win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, actually, at this point.
Him or Witherspoon.
Yeah, Jalen Carter fell off the face of the earth.
Well, it's only based on the regular season.
Well, I know it's based on the regular season, but like
I agree, Jalen Carter's not gonna get it.
Yeah, as well, and then also as much as people like to say it's not based on the postseason, like if you put up good performances postseason, like it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So that was that game. Blowout to start wild card weekend off that we didn't see.
Still Jalen Carter.
Well, that's for right now. He's not going to win it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Next game, Chiefs at home beat the Dolphins 26-7 in the frigid fourth coldest NFL game in history. Mahomes 262 a touchdown, Tua 20 of 39, 199 yards a touchdown and an interception.
Yeah.
What are we having an honest conversation about here?
Like, this game kind of went exactly how I thought it was going to go. It was going to be like an ugly game. Chiefs are going to win. I mean, that's really just because like the defense was pretty locked down the entire time. They were able to really contain Tyreek as best they could. I think he only had like 60 something yards.
And it was just off of one deep ball, basically.
Yeah, it was like one deep pass that was like a broken coverage that was completely underthrown by Tua again.
He actually really only goes for the touchdown there because the ball is so underthrown.
Yeah.
Like it just because he was able to come back and get it, he got so much separation to get the touchdown.
It really was. I mean,
and that was their only points of the game, first quarter.
And like there was, and obviously people are like, oh, well, the Chiefs are still dropping passes. It was like negative 20 degrees.
I saw people roasting Travis Kelce, and I did see some of his drops.
But then,
he
was the second leading receiver.
They were rocks.
Like if anybody has actually tried to play football in any sort of weather, even close to freezing, trying to catch a football is like trying to catch a brick getting thrown at you. It hurts so bad. Well, they're professionals. I get it, but it doesn't. This is
the fourth coldest game in NFL. This isn't a cold game.
Yeah,
is the like one of the coldest games.
I'm fairly sure. Like there was like 15 people from that Chiefs game that went to the hospital because of hypothermia.
There were icicles on Andy Reid's mustache. That's how cold it was.
They had to get the defroster out in the booth. This was so unbelievably cold. But I mean, Mahomes looked like Mahomes. He looks like he's getting into his playoff form. They looked a lot better. They ran the ball a lot more, which I'm really like. I'm glad that they did because like that's what their identity needs to be in the playoffs. Because Isaiah Pacheco is a dog, and he needs to keep getting the ball.
Pacheco's just going to be one of those guys who has like a 4 or 5 year career that's just like you had to be there when you saw him run the ball,
exactly.
and then he's gonna burn out his knees or something, and then just be done.
The way he runs, he's gonna like retire with probably 2-3 rings, and after like 6 years, like that's it. Like his career is gonna be so short. But, oh my god,
Rutgers guy,
big Rutgers guy,
just like Jamal Charles back when he was on the Chiefs, had a good
Wow.
few year spans.
Okay, do not compare Isaiah Pacheco to Jamal Charles.
I'm just saying it's like the not very similar,
Dog,
but
Jamal Charles is putting up like 250 combined
I know.
yards in a game.
You're right. I'm just saying he's gonna play for a few years and burn out like
Okay.
Jamal Charles did.
Fine, whatever.
Not that they're the same level of skill.
Okay. So career wise, I guess.
Yeah.
But all right, fine. But yeah, I mean, it was just like an ugly game. Mahomes cracked his helmet, like he was leading the team. It was kind of just like the second the Chiefs got out to a lead, it was like they're not losing this game. Like I didn't have any doubt.
The Dolphins are frauds.
Yeah,
That's
they kind
all.
of are.
So I think a lot of the conversation surrounding this game has been having an honest conversation about Tua as a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think we really need to have an honest conversation about how the Chiefs have been discussed all season
Yeah.
from the media, how they can't play offense, how maybe they really need Eric Bieniemy. And then they get a playoff game that I would say against the Dolphins is like one of the worst case scenarios. They could have gotten Pittsburgh, they could have gotten Indy, they could have gotten these other teams who barely snuck in. They had the Dolphins who were winning the division until like the last possible second. Tyreek Hill coming back into Kansas City, offense, and all that kind of stuff. I think they had a bad draw in terms of what they could get. And they completely and utterly dominated that game.
Mhm.
Their passing offense looked like they had no trouble getting going in awful conditions. Rashee Rice looks like a wide receiver number 1.
Oh yeah.
Travis Kelce is the best pass catcher in the NFL history. That's not even like he has the most catching yards all time in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or he's going to get it really very
He's going to
soon.
get it like probably this playoff run. Yeah.
And that's what they have. And Patrick Mahomes is just statistically fantastic in the playoffs. And we all sat here and said, well, not we didn't sit here and say, a lot of people sat there and said, is like the Chiefs run over. I'm really confident the Chiefs are going to beat the Bills next week, and we'll get into that. And I think they just demonstrated this week that they have all the tools necessary. Their defense is elite,
All right.
and their offense didn't look like it had any problem in that weather.
Dang. Okay. I like it.
Thoughts on Tua?
He's not good at football.
Hey Jacob, Alabama quarterbacks suck in the NFL.
Agreed.
That's all I got to say.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think Mike McDaniel deserves a lot of flack for how his offense performs against good teams. I think he's kind of, I think he's the kind of the guy who's getting like dodging it a little bit because they're like, Tua's not that good.
Well, and also
And,
his first year,
he's
but-
funny.
Yeah.
Like, no, his
Second
year,
year.
yeah.
Second.
But his offense could not perform against any winning team. So,
Yeah.
Next game. How about them Cowboys? The Packers take down the Cowboys 48-32. I said on the podcast last week, I would be more happy if the Cowboys lost than if the Eagles won, and I stand by that. I didn't watch an announce of this game because I was busy, but I smiled every time I looked at my phone and just saw 21-0.
Watching this with a Cowboys fan was
amazing.
Euphoric. It really was.
An out of body experience.
It was wow. It like
Aaron Jones remembered he's good at football.
how do the Packers keep getting away with drafting Hall of Fame quarterbacks? I don't get it. Obviously, I'm not saying that
I
Jordan was a Hall of
I have
Famer
a
yet,
theory.
but like, you know what I mean.
I have a theory.
Okay, shoot.
All these quarterbacks get thrown in year 1, year 2.
They just need to sit, dude. I've been saying this for so long, man.
It's Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers sitting behind him. Goes in. Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Jordan Love sits for nearly 3 years, I think it was
Nearly
he sat
3
for.
years, yeah.
And then he comes in and looks really good.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Jordan Love's going to be an all-time great quarterback, but
Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith.
Yep. For 2 years?
Just 1 year.
Just 1 year. Okay. Yeah. But sat for a year behind like good quarterbacks. Like it's just
sit them.
Like,
Oh my God.
And it's beneficial when you're good to get a quarterback because when you get the quarterback right, the rest of the team
falls into place.
Because to be honest with you, I don't think the Cowboys have the QB right. I don't think they have the right QB to win a Super Bowl.
I think their Super Bowl window passed them at this point. I think it's.
And I don't think they have the quarterback to do it. And I think the Packers do have the quarterback, maybe not this year, but in the future to win a Super Bowl. And there's differences between the guys. And I think just when you look at the quarterback and how they're developed, you got guys like Bryce Young coming in year 1, sitting behind nobody. I think Bryce Young could have used a year to sit behind a guy, go through practice, and get a receiving core.
You know who could have sat behind a guy like Baker Mayfield?
Yep.
That would have been nice. Just sit behind a pro that's been there for a while. Like have no expectations on you and just like, hey, like whatever happens, happens.
And actually use another draft to get players. Like for the Panthers, I know they don't have their pick this year, but they could have, if they did have their pick, they could have gotten a Marvin Harrison in the draft or something like that.
A lineman or
and then
somebody,
played Bryce when he actually had options to throw to and stuff like that. So anyway, that's just me saying the Packers have been very good at this whole quarterback development thing for a long time, and it came to fruition in this game. Dak Prescott throws the ball 60 times for 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
All of those were in garbage time. Literally all of those were in garbage time because it was 27-0 at half. And then it was at one point it was 48-16, I think. Yeah. It was like, and then of course, like, garbage time, they score the some more touchdowns, whatever. Like it was an utter domination by the Packers, and it made me so happy watching that happen again.
That was amazing.
It really was, because I hate the Cowboys if you can't tell, but it also makes me really happy seeing like a 7 seed come in there and beat a 2 seed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there are some of those like naysayers saying like, oh well, there shouldn't be not that kind of naysayer. Jesus Christ, not God damn it. I can't say it now. There are some boomers that I'll specify there that always say like, "Oh, why are we expanding the playoffs to like a 7 seed? Like, there's no point. Like, they're just going to go in there and get smoked." And it's like, well, now they set the precedent of like this, like 7 seeds deserve to be in the playoffs. Period. Like, I understand that's like, okay, well, it might be an easy win for some teams, but when it comes to teams like the Packers who can come in there and just ball out with the youngest roster out there and just say, hey, we got nothing to lose, and go into Jerry World and beat the dog out of the Cowboys, I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that as like an NFL. No,
like, and both teams had to play their guys the last week. Both teams were playing. It wasn't like the Packers got a rest advantage. It was like because they won the division or something.
They were both fighting for that spot.
They both played hard that last week of the season, and they both were in a spot like where all their guys were there. They were banged up and everything like that. So, I mean, Raj's reaction.
I'm just happy the Cowboys lost. Whatever.
What is going to be the carnage of the Cowboys is the question.
McCarthy's gone.
McCarthy's clearly gone.
McCarthy's gone. Tax on like one more year, maybe.
Yeah. I think what the Cowboys should do is take a page out of the Packers book, try to move up,
draft a quarterback right now.
Like I would consider.
Well, you got Trey Lance.
Oh boy.
If that means Rush. I don't know how the quarterback class will fall out, but I know there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the draft.
There's great quarterbacks this year.
Like, can you move up a little bit? Like, even if you have to sacrifice a future first or so and sit him behind Dak. Dak's a great quarterback, I would imagine, to sit behind. Sit him for a year or two. Then when Dak's contract comes up, be like, you can go, buddy. Like,
see ya.
Sign a $30 million, $40 million deal with another team. But we're going to go with a different guy. That's what I think they should do. I think Dan Quinn just squandered any possibility of getting a head coaching job.
He'll still go to Seattle, I think.
He'll go somewhere.
I think he tanked it.
Do you think he tanked it?
I think he tanked it to get out. That's my conspiracy. I think he tanked his defense to try to get out of Dallas.
What a take.
Yeah. I think he's trying to get out of there.
Hey, so guys, linebackers, just leave the middle of the field open.
Okay, guys. So Micah Parsons, you're going to go back in coverage.
We're going to let Romeo Dobbs get 100, yards on us.
Okay, when you see 87, run away from him.
I mean, the drafting by the Packers has just been awesome, too. I mean, they have completely rebuilt that wide receiver room, and it looks great.
Dobbs, Watson, Jaden Reed.
That is about to be probably the best receiver room in about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. And they have a quarterback who's just like on the same page with them in terms of like age and whatnot.
Musgrave at tight end.
Musgrave and Kraft.
Yeah.
They have two good tight ends. They got 2 good tight ends. They got 3 good receivers. Like, they're about to be terrifying.
They have a good cornerback.
If they need to get it. Joe Barry, you still need to be fired.
Yeah.
But if they can add some guys to their defense and really even bolster up their offensive line a little bit too, and probably sign another late round running back, something like that, they could be a really, really scary team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely on division win. I don't think the Lions can kick up their feet next season. The best team in that division.
No.
Packers should just get better. I mean, they started 4-6.
Yeah, and they came all the way back.
Yeah, and they've been winning a bunch of games straight. So hats off to the Packers. Next game of the week, Lions beat the Rams 24-23.
It's a close game.
I thought I was on the wrong side of this. I thought the Rams were the better team. I still think they played this game. I think if they play this game 10 times, it's 5-5, 6-4.
Oh yeah, it clearly was a very close game. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout by the Rams. I thought it was just going to be a win. Granted, there was a little bit of a ticky tack, no call at that.
A little bit.
Yeah,
But there was also some bad calls by the refs in the game. So
Shocker.
It's like, yeah, wow.
Hot take.
Hot take. The refs were bad for both teams. Holy crap. Yeah, but I mean, it was like, as much as I wanted to see Matt Stafford go in there and bounce them first round because it'd be hilarious, I am so happy for Detroit. I want to make that very clear. Like, seeing the fan, it was like they showed some fan that was like a season ticket holder for like 66
Yeah,
years.
it's crazy.
Like 66 years. He'd only seen one playoff win in 66 years, and this was his second. Like, come on. Like, you got to be happy for the city of Detroit.
I just, when I saw the post game, I think a lot of people saw it when they were in the locker room and Dan Campbell was handing out the awards. Like, you can see how much it meant to them.
It meant so much
to get back to this spot.
Yeah.
For the GM, and
the GM just screaming in the elevator. Just,
and then for a guy like Jared Goff, I mean,
you kind of got kicked to the curb.
Yeah, he's first overall pick in the draft. Wins. Didn't win a Super Bowl.
Brings them to
the Super Bowl.
Then got smoked by Brady.
And then
smoked.
13-9.
13-3.
Oh, wait, that was a boring one.
Gets to the Super Bowl, gets traded for Stafford, and then can bring him back to the playoffs. Just great story for Jared Goff. But man, how about Stafford? He was doing things in this game.
He got knocked out cold.
Yeah,
like in the middle of that game, and was still making passes.
Yeah, I saw a part of this game. I mean, he was just slinging the rock. I mean, he cemented himself, in my opinion, as the best NFC quarterback.
I mean, well, when his brains are intact, but. I mean, because like for anybody wondering, there was one hit late in the game. Like, I kid you not, he gets like kind of hit like in the chest, whatever, and then another guy comes in, shoulder directly to the head, and then the whiplash, and then as he hits the ground, his eyes are rolling up into his head. Like, he was not there for like a good 4 to 5 seconds.
He thought he was back on Detroit for a hot minute.
Yeah, like legitimately.
I thought Carson Wentz was coming in for a minute.
Dude, I was so ready for it.
I was so ready for Carson Wentz.
Could you imagine the redemption arc?
I was going to, like, the things I was going to do if Carson Wentz led them to the playoff win was...
Oh, my God. That would have gone
my
crazy.
Body. I saw him warming up, and I was like, everybody in the house with me this week, I was like, oh my God, Carson Wentz is coming back. Oh my God, he's going to play.
Yeah, but
it didn't happen.
But no.
Stafford's a dog.
Puka Nacua is an absolute top. This dude's going to be a top 5 receiver next year.
Yeah.
Like, he's ridiculous.
He's insane. Like,
5th round draft pick.
He's like, he's a solid blocker. He eats.
I would say more than solid blocker. Yeah. He blocks way better than most wide receivers.
And he eats tackles that would just knock most people out. And he is just like getting right up. It's like getting back out there. He is incredible.
I thought the Rams might have kind of this been their last ride. We had kind of talked about
they are right back in it.
They are right. I mean,
yeah.
Like, run this team back. They've got some young guys in the defense.
Yeah, their defensive tackle was like right up there with Jalen Carter in stats.
Yep.
Like, they have a squad.
Yeah, like, I think if they can return everyone for another year,
and they draft so well in the late rounds. Yeah. Like,
what do you need? Some offensive line pieces, and then
you need to beef up the offensive line a little bit, and like maybe some of your secondary or linebackers. Yeah, like that's really about it.
And they're right back in it. So I mean, great showing by both teams. It was a fantastic game.
It was.
I was glad Matt Stafford's homecoming to the Lions' first home playoff game in God knows how long.
Yeah,
like I'm glad it ended up like that. It was a great game.
It was a great game. Yeah, I think that was almost a picture perfect way of.
And I think the better team won the football game.
I think the Lions did outplay the.
And I thought the Rams were better going into it, but I think after watching the game, I think it was clear the Lions were a better team.
Yep.
I mean, the Lions shut down the run game of the
day. They really did.
Kyron Williams, that's all that they did.
Your guy.
Yeah, they shut him. I mean, with that D line and Aiden Hutchinson, I'm not surprised they didn't want to run the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a great point. Yeah, they really shut the run game down, which like it forced them to start throwing it, and then it's like, okay, we can force the incompletions. Granted, Puka had like 170 receiving yards, but we'll ignore that one.
That just Puka's ridiculous, and for finding him in the 5th round, just insane. A game that was moved from for Saturday into Monday was the Bills and Steelers playing at 4:30 on Monday.
Yes.
They're extremely lucky that was MLK Day, because if not, no one would have watched that game.
Yeah, true. That game would have had 0 ratings.
Yeah, but Bills beat the Steelers 31-17. This game looked like exactly what I thought it would look like.
Yeah. It was like Bills pulled out to an early lead, looked like they're dominating, kind of let the Steelers back in stupidly. Steelers make a mistake, game over.
Yeah.
Like that's basically how.
Yeah, and the Bills kind of had control the whole time, even when they got to
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
I saw part.
No,
of
no,
it,
there was no,
yeah.
I had no doubt, but like it was just like it was exactly how I think we all thought the game was going to go. But I mean, Josh Allen is still good at football.
Yes.
Mistake-free football. It's going to get him.
Yes.
Let him go far away.
Exactly. Yeah, he might not have the 500 total yards with 4 touchdowns and 2 picks that keep the other team in the game. But I mean, this was a very clean game by him.
He got in there and did what he needed to do and got out.
Also, low-key did a fake slide at one point, but we'll kind of ignore
Did
that.
do a fake slide. No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say low key.
Yeah, I think he
He did a
straight
fake
up did
slide.
a fake slide, but we'll.
Which is great because Kenny Pickett's on the other side. I
Which
mean, he's
is
on the
hilarious.
sideline, but
Kenny's like, it's my move.
Hey.
So,
but
I mean, the real question now is where do the Steelers go from here with their QB?
I mean, well,
first of all, I think it's absolutely ridiculous they're not playing Kenny Pickett.
yeah.
You
I think
drafted
it was
this. I don't
dumb.
care like where the momentum is. You drafted this guy in the first round,
Like,
and
I understand keeping the guy with the hot hand, but like,
it's Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, we've seen
It's-
his game before.
This isn't a situation where it's a very drastic comparison, but this isn't a situation where Brady had such a hot hand when Bledsoe went down.
Yeah, that's
and you
true.
just
Yeah,
wrote
yeah,
the
yeah.
guy. Like this is Mason Rudolph, who doesn't really have a hot hand. He's just okay.
and people always
He's better
forget,
than Mitchell Trubisky.
and people forget that Kenny had a great game.
yes, the game before
the first game, and then he gets injured in the next game.
Uh huh.
Like,
It was his
what do you
first
want him
game,
to do?
First game over 300 yards when they changed the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He gets injured.
yeah,
So-
I think next year, I think it's going to be somewhat quarterback controversy, but I think Kenny just wins the job.
He should.
Yeah, he's going to. This is ridiculous. I think I'm not a Kenny Pickett guy. I said it on
No,
the podcast.
you have been
No.
very
Yeah.
vocal about
I
that.
don't think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think next year he's probably going to lose the job and he'll probably end up being a backup in the NFL. But and I could be wrong about that. And you're welcome to come clip this and yell at me in the comment
Has
section.
an MVP season.
I hope
The
God, that'd be
Steelers
so
were
funny.
crazy.
That would be so funny.
But
This will be in the doc,
you don't draft
God.
you don't draft quarterbacks in the first round
and then not play them.
and then not play them to guys that are established backups like Mason
Yeah.
Rudolph.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like Mason Rudolph is not some great backup quarterback or some unknown that's playing well. Like we know
Yeah.
exactly what Mason Rudolph is, and I don't like the idea that he gives you the best opportunity to win right now over Kenny Pickett, unless his ankle is just not right.
which I mean, at a certain point, like if you're kind of just like if you're sort of just punting on the season at a certain point, it's like what risk are we going to take trying to have our quarterback get injured? Just leave the guy in with a hot hand,
Yeah.
have him sit, have him learn. Because like again, it's like what it was the second year this year, and
But it's the playoffs.
it's the playoffs, yeah, I guess. But but then the thing is like you don't want to throw him in cold into the playoffs.
Well, I just don't think that Kenny Pickett sitting is just like the right idea. You should have played him in the last week, even if
Yeah.
it was a few snaps in practice, unless he's just not right. But if he's not right, he shouldn't be suiting up.
Mhm.
Like I'm a firm believer that if you're, and we'll get into the Eagles in a minute here,
Oh,
but
God.
when players are injured, they're either injured or they're not injured.
Mhm.
Like if you're a little banged up, that's called the NFL.
Yeah.
But if you're injured, you shouldn't be playing football and you should
At
be
all,
like
yeah.
healing.
Yep.
So if Kenny Pickett's injured, then he shouldn't be on the sideline,
Mhm.
like being benched for
Mhm.
Mason Rudolph. And I just think it's embarrassing for the third string quarterback to now be the best option. Like the
Yeah.
fact that your coach believes that it to me is nuts.
Whatever.
But anyway, Bills move on. And then we all said here that we thought the Eagles would get the job done. We all thought against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who haven't looked good at the end of the season, the Eagles could just find a way to get one win and, get at least one playoff win in a
Don't let us get
disastrous
one.
end of the season. And they weren't even close. They got blown
No.
out 32-9. Monday Night Football. Raj, take it from here. Give me what you're thinking.
All week after the pod, we record the pod, I was sitting there I was just like, you know what? I think we're just going to lose. I have no faith. I had that slight bit of delusion, hoping that Brian Johnson.
You made a delusional bracket where you had the
Yeah.
the
Well,
Eagles.
yeah, I did have the delusional bracket just in case.
The Kelsey Bowl.
Yeah, just in case. But I was sitting there and thinking, I'm like, man, Brian Johnson probably didn't change anything. We're probably going to go out there and play the Eagles
But
football.
he's a
we played-
head coach candidate.
Yeah, I don't know how. Just send him away. I don't care. I'm waiting for that Brian Johnson's been fired post. I just don't understand some of those route concepts. You sit there and you watch the middle of the field wide open on these blitzes. You see they're blitzing, and obviously it's so easy to blitz our offense when we don't utilize the middle of the field. If you see they're blitzing, call a hot route, audible into a slant. It's not like our receivers are trash. We have Devontae Smith. And when he did use the middle of the field, Smitty ran it for about 40 yards. Crazy what happens when you use the middle of the field and create good route concepts. Not having Goddard and Smitty go both run like curl routes on the same side, 2 yards away from each other. It doesn't make sense. Brian Johnson, you shouldn't be in the NFL anymore. Have fun coaching high school, buddy.
High school.
Yeah.
I watched part of this game. Like, it's unbelievable to me the Eagles looked the way they did because they truly didn't look like they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's hard for me to blame them. They have just been a lethargic team for weeks and weeks on end, and they acted like it. They acted like the season had over. They looked like a 4-12 team. I heard someone say this morning. They looked like the 4-12 team that was going into their last game of the season. They looked like a team who had lost all their players due to injury and were just out there trying to get the season done. They looked like a team that was losing in a blowout game on the first snap of the game. They just had no interest in playing this playoff type of football, and it showed.
Yeah.
That's why that's why it's 32-9. You fail to tush push 1 yard out when you don't do that all season. Like, it's just a perfect accumulation of just. I know Jalen Hurts guys faced matchup tough.
Vita Vea, but
that was the second time it didn't work. Vita Vea was both times.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just accumulation of just a horrible season. Jalen Hurts didn't even play that bad this game. I don't even think this was honestly the Buccaneers doing things well. They dropped passes.
They did.
All over the place.
I think Baker should have had like 400 yards passing.
Yeah. This is.
yeah.
I mean, just. This is an entire. Everyone wants to say, where do you want to put blame on the Eagles season? This is a entire.
This is a systemic.
This stems from Howie Roseman deciding that he wanted to outsmart people and not care about the linebackers or safeties at all. It backfired. He signed James Bradbury to an extension, which isn't his fault, but James Bradbury looks horrible. Like, I mean, he's regressed a ton since last year. I mean, he wasn't great last year, but he's horrible now. It goes to the players who have regressed. The defensive Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter got worse as the season went on. They're young. I'm not gonna
bag on them too much.
I'm not gonna bag on them too much, but they got worse as the season went on. Hassan Reddick, whether it was scheme or not, has not been as impactful throughout the season. Obviously, still these linebackers and safeties, even though they're bad player, like even though they're not great players and not a lot of money in them, they're not playing that well. Darius Slay didn't look great yesterday. I know he's coming off of a new procedure, but he was still out there.
And now he's probably hurt with another injury.
Yep, that was horrible. And then on the offensive side of things, the offensive line has gotten worse every single game this year. I think it's probably part of the reason Jason Kelce retired. And they've just collectively their players aren't playing well. And then the coaching is just, we've talked about the coaching ad nauseum. Like, it's not good. The defensive they're dropping Hassan Reddick back in coverage a lot. They don't know what they're doing. And it's just an entire system failure that just was right in front of you on that football game.
Oh, yeah. And you know what else I heard this morning? A lot of people were talking and saying that more was going on than just losing the coordinators. Almost like something happened in the locker room. Like I've been saying for weeks. So all of you in the comments that were saying that I had no idea what I was talking about. I know what I'm talking about, okay? Also, if you please don't take any of this seriously. It's not that deep.
I would really like to. I'm really excited.
I'm sorry.
I'm excited to see what happens with this Eagles team in the offseason. A little scared, but excited.
All I want to see is Brian Johnson fired before the end of the week. That's all I ask.
Look. It's at the end of the day, I think this is just a season you need to write off.
I agree.
You're coming off of a Super Bowl hangover. Clearly, there's just some major issues that need to be addressed that can be addressed. I don't think there's anything on this team that can't be fixed because it's very obvious and clear issues on the field. There's some weird stuff going on off the field, but I feel like a lot of teams kind of have that where it's like there's weird rumors and kind of stuff going around, and then it's like, it kind of figures itself out. Yep. Because at the end of the day, winning cures all, because when you're winning, it's fine.
Yep.
Like, whatever. So,
I mean, it's got to be incredibly frustrating for this group. That's why I think a lot of the stuff in the locker rooms come out, because it's got to be extremely frustrating. You were in the Super Bowl last year, arguably should have won the Super Bowl last year.
And then now it's like you're barely even able to keep pace with the Bucs.
And again, this was a whole entire season problem because the Eagles, they were the most miserable 10-1 football team you would ever see.
Yeah.
They knew stuff wasn't right. They knew they were frustrated, and then it completely fell off, especially after Sean Desai was fired.
Yeah.
You know what? This is just
fired.
Whatever,
same thing.
This is just Philadelphia sports. We got these great teams, and we like to do this thing where we shoot ourselves in the foot. Not just once. We take a shotgun and load it with 8 shells, and we just keep shooting until the foot is paced. I don't know why. We did it. We did it in the NFC, not the
Just good.
the NL Championship.
Okay, Cook.
We did it in the Super Bowl. We did it this season in the playoffs. We did it again in the World Series to a year, however long ago that was. We did it in what
World
World
last
Series
year?
2 years ago.
NL Championship last season.
Yeah.
Last season.
Super Bowl now. The Sixers also.
The Sixers' existence.
The second round every season because we shoot ourselves in the foot and can't win a game 6 at home or game 7 series ever.
Don't worry, the Flyers are good this year.
I don't care about hockey.
Yeah, I know you
Whatever.
don't.
I don't know what's going
I'm
on.
the biggest Flyers fan right now.
Yeah,
If they make the playoffs, I'll start watching and then I'll start getting into
you
it
also,
again.
I think you claimed on the podcast that you were a Devils fan, but whatever.
Oh well, I don't care. Whatever.
We need to find that.
This is just pain. I'm just waiting for the thank you fans post. Like, please post it.
I don't think they're going to post it because they've seen all the memes about it. I don't think they're posting because they know the Eagles know exactly what's
Yup.
going to happen if they post it. It's going to be like the amount of backlash they're going to be getting on that post is going to be insanity.
Yeah, I think if they do it, they'll at least wait for the exit interviews.
That next post better be we have relieved Brian Johnson of his offensive coordinator duties effective immediately. That better be the next post.
There you go.
So we'll do this obviously, of course, when everything's all said and done a little bit. But where do the Eagles go from here? If you're deciding making decisions for the Eagles, what are your first steps?
Okay, do you want sane Eagles fan or disgruntled Eagles fan?
I want what you would do.
What I would do is
What you would do in
step one.
You're the GM.
You're not
GM?
sane.
Yeah,
So
you're the
Okay.
GM. Do whatever you need to
Yeah.
do.
Step one, get rid of Brian Johnson. Easy. Step two, work on drafting some replacements for positions. Step three, if we need to trade someone, do it. Get a better linebacker. Do something. Get someone in the offseason. I don't know who's free agents yet. Bolster up the linebacker. Our front four is amazing. They're good. They're young. We're getting back there. Get better linebackers so we don't need to drop Hassan Reddick into coverage every goddamn time because he's known for blitzing, not dropping into coverage.
He's Jesus. I had a stroke there. Oh my
Wow.
god. Wow. He's an edge rusher,
Mr.
not
McDonald.
a drop back
Yes.
linebacker. Yeah.
Three, keep Reed Shiesty. I like him.
Okay.
That's it. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Reed
done yet.
Blankenship. Okay.
Yeah, Reed Shiesty.
Okay. Whatever.
Step four, James Bradbury. Either learn how to tackle. I will do tackling drills with you one-on-one if you want for like a month straight. I don't care. Just learn how to tackle, dude. And then step five, see you, Sean Desai. You're trash. That's why the Bears lost, and that's why they regressed that badly, and you got fired. Step six, get rid of Matt Patricia. He is not good either. There's a reason why.
okay, well, you can just say get rid of clear the
Okay.
defensive staff.
Okay.
out.
So what you're saying is clear damn near everybody except for Sirianni and
I
the coaching
think,
staff.
like, I keep seeing everyone like saying, "Oh, fire Sirianni." Okay, I know we fired Doug for much less, but still, he's made the playoff every season he's been in Philly. And as much as we want to place all the blame on him, we can't place all the blame on him. And it's only his third season here. If they fire him, will I be surprised? Kind of. If they don't fire him, cool, keep him. We'll rebuild. We'll figure it out. It's fine. And offensively, yeah, it's gonna suck without Kelsey. Hope
yeah, it's gonna suck.
Jurgens is gonna need a year to, figure it out probably. So the O-line's not gonna be as good anymore.
Fortunately, Jurgens is sitting behind, kind of sitting.
Yeah.
He's been playing guard, and he's been sitting behind.
He's been learning
One of the
at least
best
from
centers
Kelsey.
of all time.
Yeah.
And a guy who I know is probably there working with him every
Oh yeah.
single day.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kelsey goes back. And
Yeah,
coaches.
he will.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
Him and Stoutland. I wouldn't be once Stoutland wants to retire. Kelsey will probably take that job over.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
We'll see.
Maybe. Who knows?
We'll
Maybe Stoutland probably won't retire at
Let
this
him,
point.
let him hope.
Okay.
I just want false hope. Please resign DeAndre Swift. We cannot lose him. Do not lose him.
I don't know if we're signing him, buddy.
I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know what AJ Brown.
This is what happens when you pay your quarterback who's not that good $50 million a year.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do about Hurts. Maybe he just needs a seat. Maybe you just need
How long is the contract?
10
years?
something like that.
How much longer for the guaranteed money?
let me pull up the
Okay,
contract.
You keep going.
Well, you tell me how to fix the Eagles.
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay. Well, I agree with Rod.
What would you do?
Yeah. So if I was Howie Roseman, first thing I would do is I would trade Jalen Carter to the Giants. Sorry.
Forecast considerations.
Yeah. No. So if I was the GM, you got to get rid of offensive coordinator. You got to make because here's the thing. There is no salary cap for coaches. Now, the other Brian Johnson for Detroit is a good offensive coordinator. And he has said that, like, unless he gets essentially like life-changing money, he's not leaving. So you need to be ready to throw money at a good offensive coordinator. Because I know, okay, it's better if somebody comes up through your system. It's better if somebody comes up through your system. You need a good offensive coordinator now. Because there's some young guys on the team, but the Super Bowl window for the Eagles is now.
Yeah.
And after this year, it might have gotten slammed shut, but
who knows?
We will see on that one. So you need to go take a swing at a big offensive coordinator. Hell, go try to take the enemy from the Commanders. I don't know. Try something. Then for defense, obviously you need to find some sort of defensive coordinator to fill that gap. You either look at you got to look at like smaller teams. You got to look at like even somebody like the Raiders. Like they had a pretty solid defense. Like look at them for a defensive coordinator there. I think Sirianni is an asshole, but I think that he's not a bad head coach. I think he just needs the coordinators to support him. In the draft, you either got to be drafted a linebacker first round, or you're going out and you're finding some gem like just recently how the Giants went and found Bobby Okereke from the Colts. You got to find some younger guy that's going to be coming up on a contract year, that's going to be playing solid football, that can be that number one. Because Nakobe Dean is solid. He's not a middle linebacker. He's not a true middle linebacker.
He's been injured all year.
He's been injured a lot. You've got some like younger linebackers.
What did he play in
whatever.
college? He didn't play middle.
He was the Mike in college,
Mike.
but being a Mike in the NFL is very
different
because he's an undersized linebacker. Even for how small linebackers have gotten, like it's just like you need a bigger dude in the middle.
Yeah,
like you just do. And James Bradbury, send him to the moon.
Yeah,
who cares? Get him out of here. Because I think wasn't Ringo coming in and playing?
Ringo was playing a lot better than
Ringo was
Bradbury.
playing well. Yeah.
Well, no, because Bradbury got benched at one point, and I think Ringo was going in instead of him.
Nah, Slay got hurt.
No, Slay got because Bradbury had to go to QB1.
Dude, there was a tweet that went out that Bradbury got benched during the game.
Like yesterday?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, during the game, I didn't see. Well,
yes.
I stopped watching halfway through.
Whatever.
I was just looking every time I looked up and heard a cheer from the
So
crowd.
I thought you meant like multiple weeks ago.
No. It was during the game. He got benched during a drive. But anyway.
Yeah.
But like my whole thing is like, I think as a team, you need to sit down with everybody and genuinely have a conversation about the season, because everybody needs to come up and talk how, like, as stupid as it sounds, everybody needs to talk about how they feel, how the season went. This needs to be with everybody, not just one-on-one in exit interviews, because you need to get to the bottom of it now, because this is a change in culture, and having a good locker room is so unbelievably important to a team that it can completely, like, look at the Steelers from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They had one of the best offenses in the league, but an absolutely cancerous locker room, and they fell apart almost immediately after that. You got to nip this in the bud right now, because I don't know what's going on in that locker room, but you got to figure it out now.
Yep, I agree. Going back to Jalen Hurts' contract, his cap hit next year is $13 million, then 21, 31, 45, 54.
Holy!
He's making an average of $51 million, and he has $180,000 guaranteed on that.
Wait, what? $180,000 guaranteed?
Yeah.
It's all incentives?
A lot of it's... I mean, his base salary is only $1 million.
Damn.
Oh.
But his cap hit, of course.
But the cap hit is still,
you really can't get out of the deal until 2028, when you could just cut him.
2028?
Yeah, because then you could cut him for 24.
Holy... Dude.
That's when your potential out is. Otherwise, it's only a trade.
Good
Which
Lord.
I am not sitting here saying that Jalen Hurts is like at the level where you're considering cutting. Like, no. That's not like a Russell Wilson type of situation. But what I am saying is that we need to
figure it out.
You need to think about it, because he's not playing well, and that's where I'm at with him. What I would do is, if I said this last week too, if Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick, or maybe Jim Harbaugh would take the job, you can fire Sirianni. But if those three guys don't want the job, and I mean, listen, you can figure it out pretty quickly. Like, people aren't interviewing Bill Belichick. Like, I know the Falcons put out a tweet, we have interviewed Bill Belichick.
No, Bill Belichick went, and then the Falcons begged him on hands and knees.
The Falcons just asked, what do you think? What do you want to do with our team? and how do you want to be involved? That's what they did. So if they get wind that Bill Belichick would like to go to the Eagles, then change the coach and just change the culture. But otherwise, to keep Sirianni, you need a clean house on offensive, defensive staffing.
Yeah.
You need to figure out which players are like not good for the vibes and cut them. I don't know if AJ Brown's bad for the vibes or not. If so, like trade him. Like I don't like the last thing this team needs right now is bad vibes, and you need to figure out an offensive coordinator who works with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's going to be like a Shanahan kind of guy. But find a guy with a running quarterback that's really succeeded. I don't know if it's whoever's coached up Lamar over there, but
yeah, you could look at the quarterback's coach from Baltimore. You could find
you need to find somebody who gets him, because he's regressed a lot from last year. He doesn't even look comfortable in the pocket anymore.
No,
I think he's lost all his confidence. So that's what I want to see done. But we will see. Again, I don't think firing Sirianni is a good option unless you have a clear guy in mind. If you did fire him, a guy like Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Johnson could be interesting from Detroit.
I think it might be Ben Johnson.
I think it's Ben Johnson. Yeah.
I think I've been saying Brian Johnson the entire time. Whatever, you know who I mean. Not the guy from Philly.
Yeah, Ben Johnson would be interesting. I wouldn't fire Sirianni for him, but again, if the team is out on Sirianni and you can tell, then I would do something. Otherwise, I would draft secondary like linebackers and safeties and high picks. I'd consider doing a lot to get this team where it goes, because they're there, and the NFC is not strong, so you can really come back for next year. But otherwise, I'm glad the Eagles lost, because just even yesterday I was like, I didn't get to watch the full game because my flight got delayed, but I was like, gosh, I got to watch the Eagles game tonight. That's
You're just stressed.
Yeah, that's where I was. Cause I knew it was going to be hell. Like I knew it was going to be a horrible time.
Oh my god!
Because it's not fun watching the Eagles because they just don't play good football. Like, not one aspect of the game is good. Yeah. The only thing that's good about them, the only thing they do well, is the tush push, and they failed it last night. So.
It's what happens when you have a 6'4", 400-pound Samoan dude in the middle of the line. So who got lower than Jason Kelce? I've never seen that in my life. That was insane. Whatever.
Wild. Moving on, we're going to predict the next week, the divisional round games. Okay. Now, I'd like to put a side note. A lot of these are going to seem like easy picks because this is the most egregious betting line I think I've ever seen of a weekend. We have the Ravens favored by 9.5, the 49ers favored by 9.5, the Lions favored by 6.5, and then the Chiefs-Bill game's a 2.5-point line. That is ridiculous for a divisional week game, and that's because a lot of upsets happened, and there seems to be a lot of like clear people to win. So before we're not gonna, I don't think a lot of us are going to be spewing any like hot takes over here. Yeah, but it is what it is. Starting with the Saturday 4:30 game, Texans versus the Ravens. Of course, the Ravens are at home, the 1 seed. They've been off for 2 weeks,
basically. 2 weeks.
And they had that for that last week, so it's kind of been like 3 weeks. But where are we at with this game? What do we think needs to happen? Can the Texans pull an upset?
So this is in Baltimore.
In Baltimore.
Do we know what the weather's like in Baltimore?
I'll look it up.
Please look that up. That actually does impact how I'm going to say this. So I think CJ Stroud is an absolutely amazing quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson should be the MVP this year at this point. Maybe Christian McCaffrey because he's a run.
26, partly sunny, 0% precipitation, winds 15 miles per hour.
Okay. So Lamar Jackson playing at MVP caliber this year in 26-degree weather with 15-mile-an-hour winds. This is going to be on the run game. Yes. The Texans don't really have a run game.
No.
So, and of course, if there's anybody that's going to prove me wrong, it's probably CJ Stroud. But I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say that the Baltimore defense is still going to play very solid because their secondary isn't as banged up as well. It's pretty banged up, but I think that their secondary is going to be playing better now that they've seen how the Texans are going to be playing. It's going to be hard to throw the ball. It's going to be kind of on the run game. They have great linebackers. Well, Roquan Smith is probably top 2 linebacker in the league. Patrick Queen is solid. But I think the Ravens win this game. But if there's anybody that can pull up an upset this week,
it's the Texans.
It's CJ Stroud and the Texans. So that's how I think.
Raj.
It was right about the Texans last week, but now
do it again. You won't. Do it again.
Changing your bracket.
You're going to switch up. You're going to switch up with CJ Stroud.
What you're allowed to do, but
you can switch up, but you'd be.
I didn't even have the Texans winning after the first week. I had them losing.
I know. I'm saying you'd be switching up. if you took Texans.
Nah, I think I'm gonna keep the Ravens winning this. I mean, I know CJ Stroud. It might shock the world again, but
They're too good.
The Ravens are way too
they're way
good
too
to
good.
lose to this team. So
Oh, sorry, I forgot you would have had the Texans playing.
yeah.
Bills. Yeah,
So yeah, I got Ravens winning this game.
yeah, I got the Ravens too. I'm still skeptical of playoff Lamar just because his track record is horrible.
I think this.
I'm
is gonna
not
be
a
the
white
time,
guy
yeah.
hating on black quarterbacks. I'm somebody who looks at the data and the stats. So in his playoff career, he's not been good.
Racist.
No, white.
But his last 3 playoff games have been not great. So I am a little bit nervous about that, and that's why I love the Texans plus 9.5.
Sorry about the cut. Was somebody tried to shovel our driveway? Anyway,
Okay.
There's snow. Anyway, but yeah, I think I'm a little bit concerned about like the Lamar QB performance, but I think the Ravens are just a lot better than the Texans are.
The Ravens. I think this is going to be the year that the Ravens finally put it together.
Yeah,
Like, just the way that they've been playing, like they've been playing solid and like just winning games all year, and they started picking up momentum right at the right time. The only thing that concerns me, besides CJ Stroud, is that they've had a lot of time off.
Yep.
And that kind of worries me a little bit.
I think the Texans are on a really big high right now.
They have
And
a
like
lot of
they
momentum.
no, I think they're due for like a kind of a
Oh,
letdown.
like a crash. Oh, I see what
And-
you're saying. Yeah,
But I think that will kind of like, I think the Ravens being on all at rest and the Texans crash might kind of cancel each other out.
yeah.
Because- So we'll see. I think it's an interesting spot because I could see the Texans going up 7-0, scoring an opening drive, and everyone's like looking around like, oh, is this
is this it?
it? Is this
the dagger?
Is this the dagger?
I will say,
Uh-oh.
if the Texans win, this is going to start a whole like Lamar's going to win his unanimous MVP or close to that.
Yeah, he should.
And-
win, yeah.
If they lose to CJ Stroud, like rookie QB, after being the 1 seed,
It's gonna get loud.
it's going to get loud.
Yeah. Although Lamar, you can come over to the Giants. It's fine.
A lot of teams would still take you, but it will get
Please,
loud.
please come over to the Giants for the love of God.
And I can stop being labeled a racist. Anyway, Packers versus the 49ers.
Niners.
This is gonna be the annual
Not-
beatdown.
Yeah,
of
I
the
think
Packers.
we both said it, I think, last week,
Yeah.
where we were like, if the Cowboys won, the Packers are going to get destroyed by the 49ers. I would love to believe in the Jordan Love.
Look, it would be sick if they
It
came
would
in
be
there.
great. I'm going to be watching this game for the possibility.
Like I might end up rooting for the Packers, but I don't think they're gonna win.
This happens every season, guys. It's the annual beatdown of the Cowboys by the
And then
Packers.
the Packers lose to the 49ers.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where it's like
it's free.
yeah, because the 49ers, the kind of their one thing is like they just needed a little bit of rest. And now that they got it, it's like, oh,
And I mean, listen, the Packers defense is not that good.
Packers defense is not good. And
Middle of the field, like the line, just no.
yeah,
It's-
I think that this is going to be this is either going to be really ugly or a Jordan Love legacy game, one or the other.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love the 49ers minus 9.5, I think.
Damn.
Like I know it's a
They're
big
winning by 10?
I know it's a big line, but the Packers, they got a rookie receiving room for the most part, first year QB. The 49ers are coming off
It's
rest.
going to be Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Javon Hargrave, Armstead, or not Armstead.
They got to
or-
watch all this
no,
tape on
whoever.
the Packers. I mean, I think they're like so excited for this game. I mean, the Packers have serious deficiencies on defense, and
Christian McCaffrey, how many yards? Total.
I'm wondering what the line
140
is.
all purpose.
I was thinking the line should be around like 120.5 or something
Yeah.
like that. So, I mean, I think he's going to go for like 130, 140 yards.
Yeah.
I think that there's the run games to get going. I think they'll get a lot of slants going. The only way the Packers win this game is if it's a shootout and Brock Purdy can't hang.
Yeah.
Because Jordan Love's a better quarterback.
Oh, yes, 100%. Yeah.
So if Brock Purdy kind of progresses a little bit
Mhm.
and it isn't playing as well in the playoff spotlight, and Jordan Love gets going and it starts to become a high scoring game, that's the Packers' route to victory. That's
Yeah.
what happened in the Dallas game. They scored
And
a
you
bunch of
also
points.
they also, I think, just got to have like, tip passes just go their way. They
Yep.
get interceptions, like get turnovers. If they win the turnover battle, if they they have to have a lot of things go right, but there is, I'm not saying there's no shot,
Yeah, there's not no shot.
but it's like an 80-20.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, because the Cowboys and the 49ers are very different teams.
Very different teams. Yeah.
And so that's why I think the 49ers have this
Yeah.
in the bag. But I will be excited to watch because, again, Jordan Love and
That'd be awesome if Jordan Love went in there and won. I'd love that.
Yeah, it's a very exciting story. So next game, Buccaneers versus Lions. I love
Lions.
I love the Lions here.
Lions.
We talked about it last week when I said the Eagles would win because the Eagles are a bad team right now. The Buccaneers still, I don't think they're that good of a team. They made a lot of mistakes against the Eagles and they still won big.
Lions coming off a huge playoff win.
Yep.
Their momentum is gonna be so high going into Detroit.
Yep.
Like that's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the Lions are just a better team
Mhm.
overall. I think that's probably the game people are least interested in watching
Because it should be a beatdown.
Yeah.
For the Lions.
Now, the path for the Buccaneers is that they can cook the Lions secondary.
Shootout.
Yeah.
I think it's shootout. It's very similar to the Packers. I think it's shootout and win the turnover battle. Because if you can, because like the secondary of the Lions is a little bit iffy. So if you can get if you can actually hit Mike Evans on those deep routes, you can hit the tight end, you can hit Godwin, you can hit all these random rookies that apparently are good now, whatever.
Don't worry, Trey Palmer's gonna say
Yeah.
tweet. I woke up angry at 5:55 a.m.
Yeah, and then you need. I'm not saying they need to like they don't need like 10 turnovers, but like if the Lions are driving, like you need to stop them. Like you need to hold them to field goals. Like bend don't break. Levante David and Devin White need to be bottling up the run game at the line. They can't be letting David Montgomery fall for 3-4 extra yards every run. Like they need to be stuffing the run game, forcing them to pass, and then you can hope that who's the safety? It's really good.
CJ?
Nope, on the Bucks. I'm so stupid.
Whitehead. Nope,
not Jordan Whitehead.
No, it's not Jordan Whitehead. Why?
Oh, it's not
Minnesota guy, 31.
What was his name?
He's
Winfield.
Yes. Antoine Winfield Jr. Yeah. You got to hope that he comes up too. Yeah,
that was a lot.
Good Lord. That took way too long. But yeah, I think there's a shot for them. I think it's a lot closer than in the Packers 49ers game.
Agreed, yeah.
But I still think the Lions pretty handedly win this game.
What do you like about? Do you like the 6.5 line in whose favor?
I'll take the Lions on that.
Yeah, I just think
I'll take the Lions. Yeah,
I'm still iffy on the Bucks just because of the way they play the Panthers at the end of the year. Like I just still think,
and like they didn't play a great game against the Eagles.
No, yeah,
it was kind of just like the Eagles more lost that game than the Bucks won it.
Yeah, it's just like people have been saying the Eagles are not a good football team.
No,
are not a good. I mean, they just outright lost to the Giants at the end of the year.
Yeah,
So I just think that's kind of. I mean, it's great for the Bucks and maybe they'll ride off the momentum, but I just see a Lions win here, and then Chiefs versus Bills. This is the matchup that they couldn't have wrote this better.
Yep.
For the end of the year. Chiefs versus Bills. The Bills
in Buffalo for the first time.
Yep. Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game ever. Minus 2.5 in the Bills' favor. Raj, I'm going to start with you.
Josh Allen's winning this game.
I think Josh Allen's winning this game.
Wow.
Winning this game.
I think they're winning. I think they're breaking the curse.
This is the season.
This is it.
Unless Josh Allen doesn't beat the allegations and throws like 5 picks, tries to do everything.
Are crazy for doubting Patrick Mahomes. This is.
With the amount of momentum the Bills have, with how sketchy, which again, obviously I'm saying sketchy. The Chiefs offense still looks fairly good. If it comes down to a shootout, I don't know if the Chiefs have the firepower anymore.
Nah, they don't.
The problem is it's not a shootout game. The Chiefs are going to hold this Bills team down.
I don't think so.
Because the Bills have a balanced offense, though. They have a run game. They have passing.
This Chiefs defense is so good.
Like, I'm not saying that this is like legitimately a 51-49 type of game. Like well, I'm not saying score wise. I'm saying like percentages wise. I mean, at this rate, it could be 51-49. That'd be sick. But this is like, I could see either team winning this game. I think the Bills, just with the momentum that they have playing in Buffalo, Mahomes is coming in there. They have such a big chip on their shoulder that everybody doubted them the entire year. The people were calling for Josh Allen to be cut. Like, it was ridiculous. I think they come away with the win.
I think all the Bills needed was Ken Dorsey to be fired, and they're clearly Sean McDermott to be a member of Al Qaeda now.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know.
And they just need one Bills fan to sacrifice himself into the pit.
Yes, they need it. They need at least one Bills fan to throw themselves into the pit, and then
They'll
will
win. They've been undefeated since.
Before we move on, for context, the Bills are building a new stadium like right next to their old one, and currently, right now, it's just a giant ditch in the ground. And during every single one of their wins, there's been a report that somebody has fallen into the pit during the tailgates and everything.
Absolutely great.
So if they sacrifice somebody to the pit, they will win.
Yeah.
So
I wonder who's going to sacrifice themselves next week.
Somebody's
but
got to take an L.
I think the Bills are going to win. This is like on par with like putting the jerseys on the Rocky statue in Philly.
Oh, yeah. Well, except when the 49ers did that, but we'll ignore that one.
Well, yeah.
There's no way Patrick Mahomes is losing his first road playoff game.
I think he
is.
I am so confident.
MVS is going to drop like 4 passes. Travis has regressed a little bit this season. Not a lot, but he's not as good.
I love the under in this game.
Yeah.
I love the under.
I could see that happening.
I think the Chiefs are going to bottle up whatever Buffalo's doing. And I just think the Chiefs offense is just going to look like I don't
Didn't the Bills already beat them this season?
That was last year.
The Chiefs own the Bills. I think the Bills are terrified of this matchup. I don't think they are Stephon Diggs is not on the same page. Like I think that the Chiefs have a huge advantage at the cornerback wide receiver matchup. I think
it's a bold take.
Yeah.
With Snead, with the way he's playing, with Trent McDuffie.
I guess Dane Jackson kind of is their number one corner right now,
Yeah,
and he's not exactly
good.
good.
Yeah. Ooh, don't worry. DeMar
Hamlin's going to show up in a legacy game.
Chris Jones. They got Nick Bolton back. Just held Miami to pretty much nothing after a
Damn it, stop convincing me. I want
I'm still not worried
Patrick
about
Mahomes
it.
is by far the best playoff quarterback we've ever seen.
Bills
Josh
by 4.
Allen easily could make a mistake. I mean, this is going to come down to does Josh Allen make a mistake?
Stop making me change my mind.
Bills by 4.
Bills by 1.
Chiefs by 10.
Whoa, okay, I like it.
I think this is the.
Weren't you the same guy who said Browns by like 20?
I bet a lot of money.
Weren't you the guy that said Miami by 10?
Yeah, you did say
that.
Oops, thank you. But
that's on me. That's on me.
Gotta be better.
I thought the Dolphins could play somewhat better. That's on me. I forgot Tua was not good at football.
Oh God.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Should have played Skylar Thompson.
Christ. It's like a mental flashbang right there. I can't even think about that. Anyway, you think the Chiefs are going to win?
Yeah. I just...
Yeah.
I'm just trying... I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, but I like them in this spot, I think. Oh, after all the season, you talked about in your little clip that we posted, you should go like it and be a hater. That Roger said that after all the roller coaster this year, the ups and the downs, the firing, the coaches, this is their year to win it. I think after ups and downs and the biggest ups, the way to end the whole entire team and start over
is to
losing to the team
Chiefs
that broke you a couple years ago when they had 13 seconds to score. And we're gonna and we're all gonna be sitting here again next Tuesday saying
1 week
the
from
Chiefs
today
are in the AFC Championship game,
stop,
and they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
I swear to God, if after all of this, if the Chiefs end up in the damn Super Bowl, it's going to be so stupid.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
I guess the Bills just got to break out of Mahomes' helmet again to really hope that he just can't think, but whatever.
I mean, again, I'm not saying the Bills can't win this game, but I just think the Chiefs are a better defensive team. I think I
don't deny that the Chiefs are a better defense.
I think right now they're as good of an offensive team. I think they really did a lot in that game, in cold weather. I mean, they're gonna be ready for the cold weather. It's not like they were playing in Miami and it's like, well, now they got to go play up there. They played in that cold game, so
I think it'll be a good game.
Patrick Mahomes is gonna own Josh Allen once again. And then the final topic I wanted to touch on before we get out of here: Bill Belichick departing New England. As soon as we recorded this on last Tuesday, I think the news broke Wednesday or Thursday of that week about the Bill Belichick departing from New England. Just wanted to get reactions. Where do you think he should go and everything like that?
I mean, Chargers is probably going to be his best gig, I guess, because he's got solid players all around on that roster, and they just need a full on culture rebuild kind of thing.
Yeah.
He just interviewed at Atlanta, I guess. Don't go to
Interviewed.
interviewed. Their defense is like all right. Offense is solid, but like that's not really what Bill Belichick's known for. I say Chargers, but I guess Harbaugh is linked to the Chargers, so I don't really know. I'm trying to think about like what are the other vacancies that I'm thinking of. He's not going to the Titans.
No, he's not going to Titans.
There's the Raiders.
Oh my God! Don't tell me he's going to go to the Raiders.
I don't think so.
He's going to go to the Raiders. He's going to go get JJ McCarthy in the 6th.
Dude. Well, actually, you know what? No, Bill Belichick go to the Raiders, and then the Giants can get Antonio Pierce as their defense coordinator. Thank you.
All I know is I don't know where Belichick's ending up, but he will be drafting JJ McCarthy at some point.
All right, dog.
It's free. Bill Belichick leaving New England. I think it's good for the team overall.
I think it was a mutual parting ways.
Yeah.
I think they both kind of understood it.
I think
like,
I'm really happy they promoted Gerard Mayo.
yeah.
His name.
Apparently, he was like sort of already.
Yeah, it was
like,
baked in his contract.
Yeah, it was like he was already like getting ready to be the coach. So.
Yeah. I'm happy they promoted him. I think it's just like you said, keep the same team. I said here I was out on the Vrabel to a New England thing. I thought that was such a lateral move.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy he got promoted, and I'd like to see where Bill goes again. I would love him on the Eagles. I think he's exactly what the team could need, and we could cover his strengths with Howie Roseman being like a player evaluator.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting though. I think that's a domino that like could fall a lot.
Yeah.
Where he goes.
I think once one head coaching gig falls, everything is going to fall after
Yep.
that because like it's going to be about a run.
Obviously, an easy link for him is going to the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
Like we all know McCarthy's
He's
fired.
gonna get fired.
Yeah, we all know.
And then they'll bring in JJ McCarthy to sit behind Dak.
Oh my God! Shut up with JJ McCarthy.
A QB from Michigan who will probably drop a few rounds.
I don't think Bill's ego would let him do that though.
No.
To draft another, like to be like,
I also don't think he's going to be the GM there.
You're
He's
right,
been coach.
You're right.
I think wherever he's going, he's just going to be coach. I don't think either.
Oh yeah, they're not.
Unless you're a team that like is poverty, like the Panthers
or the Chargers. They
Yeah.
fired their GM.
Yeah, they're just like, we'll do anything to have you, Bill. I don't think teams are willing to sacrifice it. And then I think we'll see where other coaches go based on where Bill goes.
Well,
But Bill's going to play the field because if I'm not like the Bills could realistically fire their coach if they have a bad showing against
They're not
the
They
Chiefs.
are
firing
not
McDermott.
firing Sean McDermott.
They already got rid of Dorsey. He was clearly the issue.
They completely turned their team around.
Yeah, as soon as Dorsey was gone and Sean McDermott started publicizing his ties with Al Qaeda, they've been great.
Barely beat the Chargers.
Not that Al Qaeda is
barely
great.
beat the
Please don't
Patriots,
misinterpret what I'm saying.
Barely beat the Dolphins. Beat the Steelers around one.
All I'm hearing is WWWW.
That's what happened to the Eagles, and then look what happened to them.
Well, yeah,
Our collapse needs to be like studied. That was crazy.
well, that's the thing is the Eagles started off good and then collapsed. The
I
Bills
agree.
started off bad and then got.
I think Sean McDermott could still get fired, and I think that
That's
would be
insane.
an intriguing job.
That's insane.
For a team that's been making the playoffs every season, he's basically been there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, but people are calling for Sirianni's job, and he's been.
well, we
Well, Eagles
fired.
fans also.
We
are
also
delusional.
fired Doug Peterson for much less.
I just want, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, coaches get fired for less.
Whatever.
But I think he's just waiting to see where everyone falls in terms of. I don't think any other playoff teams are at risk of firing their coach.
All I'm saying is JJ McCarthy will be the starter of the
Stop.
Cowboys in a few years.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying.
That's a take.
You're smoking crack.
Dak has just been for Jerry Jones. Dak has been a placeholder for his one true love, JJ McCarthy.
All right, that's enough from you, and that's enough from the podcast today. Thanks everyone for watching. If you got this far, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out a lot, and we will see if our picks are right.
Let's see.
Wait, we're all in agreement, right? Oh wait, no,
No.
You guys are both.
We got
Yeah.
Bills.
I'm out on the Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm out on the Bills. So
Cool. Oh, my bad.
we'll see you next time.
Go Bills.